All right, so let's read through this together. For uh, displacement and velocity practice, okay, 3I. This is the key, okay? Find the average velocity in meters per second of a cyclist that starts at 150 meters north of town and is 1,200 meters north of town after 30 minutes. So let's write down what we know. Okay, that's our first step. Well, our distance right here is 150 meters north of town, right? We have 150 meters north here. And our final distance is 1,200 meters north of town. Okay, so if we were 1,200 meters was where we finished, we subtract 150, and that tells us what our distance was, which is 1,050 meters north of town. Then we take a look at our time. Our time, it says that it took 30 minutes. Okay, so it took 30 minutes. Now we have meters and minutes. We're not going to work with minutes, so we need to convert that to seconds. So 30 times 60, okay, because we're converting it to seconds, is 1,800 seconds. Now you can find this on your formula sheet. Has some helps there. Okay. The next thing we do is for velocity questions we have. Well, here's our equation. Velocity is equal to distance over time. So what are we trying to find? We're trying to find the velocity. Find the average velocity, right? So we put a v with a question mark. So now we know this is everything we know. Okay, all this information. We know the distance, which is 1,050 meters. We know the time, which is 1,800 seconds. Okay, and so we take our equation, which is velocity is equal to distance over time. We take 1,050 meters, and we divide that by 1,800 seconds. And we end up with 0.58 meters per second. Okay, therefore the cyclist travels an average velocity is the of I know that's not what's written, but that's fine. Of 0.58 meters per second. Okay. Okay, so now on to number 3. A school bus takes 0.53 hours to reach the school from your house. If the average speed of the bus is 19 kilometers per hour, what distance does the bus travel during the trip? Okay, so what do we know? The bus takes 5.3 hours. Okay, 5.3 hours right here. If the average speed of the bus is 19 kilometers per hour, okay, speed, velocity, it's going to be the same equation, okay. Of course, this is a speed because there is no direction given, but it doesn't really matter. We can put v. Velocity is equal to 19 kilometers per hour. Okay, it says what distance does the bus travel? So that's what we're trying to find out. So we put a question mark beside distance. Okay, now what equation are we using? Well, distance is equal to velocity times time. How do we know that? Okay, if you take a look at if you don't understand why, take a look at the triangle that we use. It's in the notes. It's on your formula sheet. Okay, and you'll notice that D is at the top of the triangle, V is on the left, and T is on the bottom. Okay, if you cover up the if you cover up the D, okay, you're left with V beside T. Okay, on those triangles, when something is beside the other thing, it's multiplied by, it's times by. And if it's above, it's divided by, okay? So this is how we know D is equal to V times T. So D is equal to 19 kilometers per hour velocity times the time, 0.53 hours. Okay, so we get 10.07, or in other words, 10.1 kilometers. Therefore, the school bus travels a distance of 10.1 kilometers. Okay, if we were going to convert that to meters, all we do is we multiply it by 1,000. There are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and so we multiply 10.1 times 1,000, and we get 10,100 meters.